All right. Good morning, everyone. We are so glad that you are spending your morning with us. We hope you enjoy today's Connecting Communities and Schools webinar. All right. My name is JC Williams. I am the Director of Operations for Holspire and lead the South Carolina Schools Network. Our mission is to identify and promote healthy eating and active living strategies in South Carolina public schools that empower key stakeholders and encourage collaboration among those seeking to improve student health and academic achievement.
Morning. Thank you, JC, for getting us started. My name is Erica Ayers. I'm the school wellness consultant with the South Carolina Department of Public Health, and I also serve as the executive director for the South Carolina Governor's Council on Physical Fitness. The mission of the Governor's Council is to advance the health of all South Carolinians through supporting physical activity opportunities, and we've been doing this in collaboration with the Schools Network since 2020 now. An example of this collaboration is this webinar series. So if this is your first time joining us, welcome. If not, welcome back. We've been providing this webinar series since the spring of 2022, where we are working to enhance the collaboration between schools and communities using the whole school, whole community, whole child model as a framework to support student health. For today, we're not exactly going to be focused on students' health. We're actually going to be focused on adults' health because, as we know, healthy adults make better teachers, better caregivers, better community members for our students so that they can grow and thrive. So today we're going to hear from some experts across the state who are going to share opportunities of how schools and communities can support adult physical activity and adult fitness. Before we introduce our panel for the day, we first want to get a better idea of who y'all are. So JC is going to open up our poll, so please participate. And while y'all are responding, I am actually going to go ahead and pass this back over to JC to introduce our panelists for the day and to share the results of that poll.
Thank you, Erica. All right. So we have a few of everyone today, which is fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Today we will be learning from Derek McFarland, Coach Tamise Powell Vassell, and Lindsay Dillon. First up, we will be learning from Derek McFarland, who is a member of the Governor's Council on Physical Fitness and the founder of iRunSC.com, a hub that supports and connects South Carolina running clubs. A lifelong runner, he has completed 27 marathons, including 2 Boston marathons. Before dedicating his energy to fitness advocacy, Derek built a successful career as an executive in the packaging industry. A proud graduate of Clemson University, he also holds an MBA from Vanderbilt University. I will turn it over to Derek.
Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
All right.
thank you, Derek.
Great. Thank you for the invitation, and just so happy to be here to talk about fitness in South Carolina. I think I think we hear a lot about the connection between physical activity and health. But what I'd like to talk about today is the connection between physical activity and your social connections. So how community makes fitness stick, and tell you a little bit how that community is organized in South Carolina and how you can be a part of it. So next slide, please, Erica. So just a little bit of an agenda. I'll tell you a little bit about myself and why I run. I'll share some screenshots from iRun SC and tell you a little bit about that. Introduce you to some of the running clubs in South Carolina. Talk about some of the science behind the connections between physical activity and social connections. And then finally give you some opportunities for how you can get connected and plugged in. But first, I want to give a definition. Like throughout this presentation, I'm going to talk about running, and I'll refer to running and running clubs and running organizations. Just a definition. Running here is just a term of convenience, and it refers to jogging, walking, hiking, rolling. Our running clubs are made up of all of the above. So I really don't want anyone to think, oh, I'm not a runner. I don't run. This doesn't apply to me. We use run and running clubs really more for convenience. So every time you hear that term, please hear the total inclusive group there. So next slide, Erica, please. So first, I have a little riddle question for you. How can you tell if someone's a marathon runner? You don't have to, they will tell you. Um, so yes, I'm one of those. I'm one of those guys. A lifelong runner. Marathon is my favorite distance. I've been a coach for charity teams. I've helped dozens of people complete their first marathon, half marathon, 5K, whatever it is they're trying to accomplish. I've been a race director. I'm an advocate for community movement, and I'm almost 57 years old now. And since I would say my mid 20s, I can look back and say most of my close friends, social connections, my non-family family comes from my running groups, my physical groups, my practice groups, my training groups. For me, it started back in the mid 90s. I hosted a charity team to stay at our home while they were traveling from Columbia to Nashville to run the marathon there. And I just I just kind of fell in love with the spirit of this group. They were such a inclusive, encouraging, supportive community. They were so inspiring. They convinced me to run a marathon with them. It didn't go very well, but that's another story. But I did get bit by the bug and been doing it ever since. And the picture on the left is just from a few weeks ago. My group and I, we completed the Berlin Marathon. That was my 27th marathon, and just was so happy to do it with some of my running club friends. It was just a great time. So for me, why I run, it's more about the camaraderie of the process, the social element of the training, the travel, and everything with my friends. So next slide, Erica. Thank you. This is just a screenshot from iRun SC. My career took me to different parts of the country, but about 6 years ago, we moved back to South Carolina. And so, of course, I was looking for, my place, my people, my run club to plug into. And I didn't know where to go to find it. I asked some of my friends who knows this or who knows where the clubs are, where do they run, where the group runs. And I still see posts on social media. I'm moving to the area or I'm coming for the holidays. Where's the group runs? Who can I run with? So over the last couple of years, I've created a very small organization called iRun SC. And it started with researching all of the run clubs across the state, compiling them, all of the formal ones. There are a lot of informal ones, but I started doing a database and a query across the state of where were all of the formal run clubs where they have some leadership, they may have a website, they may have a Facebook page, they have some kind of leadership, some kind of organization, some regular scheduled runs, and a name and maybe a logo. So I've compiled all of these, and I came up with so far we've identified about 70. So Erica, next slide, please. We'll show the map. This is a representation of where those clubs are. Some of them are on top of each other, but we've identified so far about 70 formal running clubs. Like I said, they have websites, social media pages. They recruit participation from all abilities. Of course, the largest numbers are centered around Columbia, Charleston, Greenville, Grand Strand, and some serve specific groups like Girls on the Run, Black Men Run, Black Girls Run, etc. So it's just a wonderful network of run clubs. No matter where you are, I guarantee, even if they're not on this list, you can find a group to plug into. Next slide, Erica, is a screenshot. Just so when you go to that page, there's a button that says Run Club Directory. And when you go to the Run Club Directory, you'll see a page like this, and it just scrolls and scrolls, showing all of the run clubs by region. So we're looking at the top of the Midlands page. So you can see here there's by alphabetical order the run club, The logos are clickable. It'll take you right to their website, or it'll take you right to their Facebook page. If we know a contact name or a leader, an ambassador like my friend Dara, we'll put that on here. And it's just a place you can go. And even if you're traveling somewhere, or I'm going to be down in Charleston for the week, when are the group runs? You can go on here, you can click on that and find all kinds of information. The other thing we have on there is news. There's a news tab, and I'll do little blogs or stories about South Carolina runners. But that's iRun SC. Right now, it's a website, it's a directory, and a way for you can find out about all the different clubs in the state. All right, next, Erica, please. So let's talk about some of these the faces of the run clubs. It's a connected, getting to be more connected fitness community across South Carolina. Here's a picture of the Columbia Run Club on one of their group runs. But I'm estimating there are between 15, 20,000 adults in South Carolina who participate in some kind of organized club. They're beginners, elites, urban areas, rural areas, road, trail, singles, family. There's just a huge variety. Dog walkers, people who will talk about their cats, just all across the spectrum in these run clubs. Next slide, Erica, please. Here's a few more pictures. Upper left is Grand Strand Running Club. We've got a photo from Black Girls Run, Black Men Run, and lower right, that's the leadership from Charleston Running Club. But these are just some of the faces of the movement, and they're not just runners, but they're connectors. And the more I get to know them and see some of these clubs, and I follow them on Facebook, they're doing such a fantastic job, and their clubs are thriving. They just look like they're having so much fun. I always try to, when I go to the beach or I go down to Charleston, I try to join in and go participate in a group run. They're so energetic. They're really organized well. They're recruiting people, and they're just doing a really good job. And what I hope to do with iRun SC is to be sort of a connection between these clubs and create some kind of a state network where we can communicate, talk about what's working, what's not working, challenges, best demonstrated practices, and et cetera. So that's iRun SC. I encourage you to go to the website and just look around and look at all the clubs and go to some of their websites and smile at some of their photos. So now I want to talk about the science of social fitness and why we move together. There is a fair amount of scientific study around this topic of social fitness. And there's a little word connection down at the bottom that the arrows got a little jumbled, but connection leads to consistency, and consistency leads to confidence, and confidence leads to even more consistency, and it's a good cycle. So when you connect with people, it sticks. And the science proves that. The next slide shows I'm referencing some studies here. I won't go through them all, but they'll be here if you want to go through and read some of these studies. But basically, the science confirms what we already know as runners and what our experience tells us, that training partners in social groups improve consistency, that social support increases physical activity, that neighborhood trust results in higher activity, and that online feedback, aka Strava kudos, does boost motivation. So like I said, I just referenced those if you want to go and read more about them, but it just really is a lot of common sense and things that I've seen in my own experience. Okay, Erica. I don't know if this quote got cut off there, but let me read it to you. People don't quit fitness because it's too hard. They quit because it's too lonely. People don't quit fitness because it's too hard. They quit because it's too lonely. I believe this to my core. We've all had that day. We go out, we try something, we're struggling. Why am I doing this? This isn't fun. This hurts. It is totally different when there's someone there with you that says, "Oh, that's normal. It's supposed to hurt. It's supposed to feel this way. Here's what's going to happen next." You can get overwhelmed with advice on Google, um, but then when you have that person there that's kind of sweating it with you and they say, "Oh, I felt the same way. This is what's worked for me. This is what I drink. This is the kind of shoes I wear. These are the kind of socks that don't make my feet hurt like that. It'll be okay." It's impactful. People don't quit fitness because it's too hard. They quit because it's too lonely. All right, Erica, thank you. I've listed some things here, and I'll go through a few of them. But here's some opportunities that I see for schools and communities. And the first little grouping is for schools and educators. And this first bullet point, I could take more than my allotted time just to talk about this one point alone. But let me just talk about open facilities and community use and allowing public access to tracks. Something really special and really beautiful happens when this community that I've been talking about gathers around a track. Mornings before work, evenings after work, all ages, all abilities, out there, doing what they need to do to achieve their goal. These are motivated, disciplined, responsible people that it's just great to get to know them. It's a mentoring opportunity. It's a good setting of an example. It's a confined space where the person who's walking a 15-minute mile and the person who's there trying to run, a 2-minute 800s are in the same space and they can encourage each other. And there's a few places around that do allow it. There's the overwhelming majority, I think, don't. I drive personally about 18 miles to a school that does allow community access to the track. And it's just a beautiful thing that happens there. The community, I've developed a lot of friendships. And let me just say before I leave this point, if there are any administrators on here that have any say about this, just can I get on your schedule for 30 minutes sometime to talk about my experience? And just really, I want to promote this and advocate this because it's really a good thing. So I'll shut up about that. Hosting family nights, creating school-based run or walk clubs, integrate movement in academics. I know all this stuff because I also have been sitting in on the schools network meetings, and a lot of this is being done already, using fitness events as fundraisers. For community leaders and organizations, partner with local running and fitness clubs. I've already described how we've got this fantastic network that exists of existing running clubs, finding a way to tap into those, to meet the leader, to meet some of the ambassadors, find a way to co-host events or do some mentoring opportunities with students, leveraging community parks and trails, promote volunteerism. Almost every race, 5K, 10K, they're begging for volunteers. That's a great opportunity for schools to come up with volunteer groups to help support some of these events. Start intergenerational programs, recognize participation. Next, please, Erica. And for individuals, I hope maybe you're interested in going and checking out some of these clubs. Go join a club or a group. Be an example. When adults move, kids notice. Sign up for an event. Sign up for a 5K, a charity walk, a trail cleanup. These things can spark lifelong habits. Use social support. Invite a friend, invite a colleague or a student to be an accountability partner. It may just be hey, I'm going to do some laps around the neighborhood after work. You want to join me? Focus on inclusion. Encourage adaptive, accessible options. Everybody can move. So my last slide. Stronger bodies, stronger communities. When we move together, we build more than fitness. We build belonging. And this is what we're trying to do. I hope that maybe you've learned something new about South Carolina running clubs. If you're not already involved in one, you've got a way to go. Check them out. Go to iRunSC, find a club. You can contact me through there if you have questions. There's links to my email. There's links to our Facebook page. You can find me there. But I guarantee you, if you go, you will receive one of the warmest welcomes you've ever received, and I promise you will go back the next week. It's just such a great community, and I hope you check them out and be a part of it.
Thank you, Derek. Um, that was really informative, and especially just the information about the building community and the importance of the camaraderie with being active. Many teachers lead wellness programs, and the resources that you've created and shared today are so useful and get that help build that community and show what's already happening. This is a great resource, whether people are going to be using it individually or to share it with their colleagues. We are grateful for the work that you have been doing throughout our state. So thank you, and we will
You,
we will now be hearing from Coach Vassal. She is the physical education teacher and wellness lead at Ellery Elementary School, where she has taught for 8 years with 18 years of experience in education, including a decade teaching physical education, theater arts, and science at the high school level. She holds a bachelor's in physical education and sport and a master's in health and wellness education. In her current role, she fosters a school-wide culture of wellness, helping school students build lifelong healthy habits, develop physical skills, and connect movement with overall well-being. Passionate about creating an inclusive, supportive environment, Coach Vassal strives to help every student move, grow, and thrive both in school and beyond. Welcome.
Thanks. Good morning. Thanks for having me and thanks for that beautiful introduction. Today, I am rather excited to share with you how Ellery Elementary School is working to build wellness beyond the classroom. And I intentionally use the word working because this is not just a mission that has already been accomplished. Rather, it is a work in progress. Before I do, I'd like to echo a statement or quote made by Derek earlier. He shared that in his presentation that people don't quit fitness because it's too hard. They quit because they're lonely. Think about it. Well, at Ellery Elementary School, that's part of the reason our focus extends beyond the students' fitness. We're also intentional about building meaningful wellness opportunities for our staff and our communities. It's part of our bigger vision where we support lifelong health, happiness, and engagement for everyone connected to our school. Now, one of the questions I often get whenever I tell people that I am from Ellery or I work at Ellery Elementary School is, where is that? And I know there are perhaps persons here today who are asking the same question. So before I dive into the wellness work we do, let me share a little about where we are located and who we are. So Ellery Elementary School is a public school in Ellery, South Carolina. We have recently transitioned from a K through 8 to a K through 5 structure as part of a district-wide reorganization plan. So when Vance Providence Elementary School closed, a portion of those students were rezoned to Ellery Elementary, which expanded our enrollment to about 324 students. And we also have a staff of about 65 members. Our student to teacher ratio is roughly 18:1. On our campus, our campus was built back in 1987. It was built originally for a K through 12 student body. So think about it, our facility would be much larger than that of a typical elementary with such a small population. We have spacious gymnasium, we have multiple play areas outdoors, and we also have an athletic track. Some of these areas are definitely open to community members for daily use. Now, I'll be honest, there are multiple areas on our facilities that could definitely use a facelift, but we have learned to be creative with every inch of our space. This shared space has also been, a key part of how we connect and serve with our surrounding communities. Now, let's talk about the town for a second. Ellery town is home to roughly 570 residents. This is a close-knit area where everybody knows everybody. And like many small towns, access to fitness facilities is limited. Our town has only one public park with a walking trail, a tennis court, and a few pickleball courts. So if you like or you prefer to use a major fitness facility like Planet Fitness or YMCA, you're looking to travel a 25 to 30 miles drive or 45 miles to Somerville or even up to 55 miles to Columbia. That's not exactly convenient for a long day of work, is it? No. So when we talk about wellness access, our school facilities can fill a huge gap. They're not just for students, or they should not be just for students. They should also serve as a fitness lifeline for our staff as well as our community. So here's a question I'd like to ask. Why should the school really matter when it comes on to adult fitness or wellness in general? Here's something I want you to think about. School can be so much more than just schools. Schools can be cornerstones of health and wellness in their communities, especially in small rural areas like ours. Our schools can build, or rather bridge, that rural fitness gap. It can give people a safe, supportive space to move, gather, and thrive without needing to travel 30 minutes or an hour to do so. So because Ellery and nearby towns like Santee and Vance have limited fitness resources, our school provides that space where both students and community members, as well as our staff, can stay active. When we do this, we're not just improving physical health, we're building relationships, we're also strengthening our community's sense of belonging. So let me tell you now a little bit about the wellness culture at our school. At Ellery Elementary, wellness is a shared value. It is not just for students, it is also for staff, family members, community members, as I mentioned earlier. I strongly believe that when adults model healthy lifestyles, children tend to notice. That was something Derek mentioned in his presentation earlier as well. And in most cases, children tend to carry these habits into their own lives. At our school, wellness culture involves promoting wellness for students, for staff, and for families, encouraging lifelong healthy habits, and building community partnership and engagement. Now here's a real question. How do you build a culture of wellness and keep it going? For me, when I started, The first step was creating an active wellness committee. This is not by forcing anyone to join, but by bringing together people who genuinely care about health and wellness. Think about it. Imagine you are given a task in addition to your regular duties, something that you're not passionate about, something that is not even a part of your job description. How burdensome that can be, right? So to build our wellness committee, we ensured that we had people who had shared passion. Of course, we started small, but small can grow quickly, like I said, when passion is involved. My next step was to create, or rather to secure, leadership support. For me, this is the most crucial. Let me be honest. Without a supportive administration, wellness effort will fade. Let me give you an example. Back in 2018, 2019 school year, before COVID, I brought forward several proposals to my current administrators. And these proposals were to help bring structure and organization to how we approach wellness within our school. Unfortunately, those ideas were set aside. However, after a change in our school administration, I revisited the proposal with the new leadership team, and this time they fully supported it. That support changed everything because now I have both our principal and an assistant principal serving on our wellness committee. I must also give recognition to Miss Kerry Hollyfield, who visited some of our school's wellness workshop and committee meetings, helping our staff and our administration to see the broader need for a structured wellness program within the school. Kerry's guidance and expertise helped to reinforce that wellness isn't just a nice idea. It's a necessary part of building a healthy, high-functioning school culture. Other steps we took included setting clear goals, tracking progress, and hosting monthly wellness events. These events range from mindfulness sessions and team building activities to national health awareness celebrations, among others. We also partnered with local organizations, health-related organizations, for screening, for workshops, for resources, among other things, all while we prioritize wellness for our staff, right alongside wellness for students. We recognize that our teachers and our staff set the tone for students. So we make sure they have access to the same wellness opportunities to help reduce stress and to promote work-life balance. So what's the importance of having a wellness committee? I want you to tell me this. How many of you have ever tried planning a wellness activity alone, or any activity for that matter? Before our committee existed, I was handling multiple things pertaining to wellness activities or physical activities within our school, all by myself. And this was all while I was carrying out my duties as a physical education and health teacher. Even after we got a second PE teacher, the load was still burdensome. And it was burdensome not just for me, but also for the other teacher. Yes, the passion was there, but burnout wasn't far behind. Once we formed our wellness committee, everything changed. It brought structure, it brought teamwork and accountability. And from then, wellness became a shared mission and not just a solo project. Now that we have our established wellness committee, tasks are distributed, voices are heard, and ideas keep flowing. And I must say, it's amazing what happens when you stop doing wellness for people and start doing it with them. Now, these are the steps we took when we were forming our wellness committee at our school. For us, our wellness committee, as I mentioned, is a team effort. We have staff members, school administrators, students, parents, and community partners who all play a role on the committee. We personally invite key members, for example, our principal and our school nurse, as well as our food service managers. We also welcome new voices every year. This year, at our recent suicide prevention program, we had a mental health counselor who participated. She requested to be a member of the committee. This is proof that when people see meaningful work, they want to be a part of it. We also send out annual surveys for staff, and honestly, this year, we have more volunteers than spots available. And that's definitely a good problem to have, right? So this diversity with our wellness committee keeps our committee connected, creative, and focused on not just our students' needs, but the community needs. As I mentioned earlier, another step we took for establishing and sustaining a strong wellness culture within our school was setting clear goals. Each year, our wellness committee establishes 3 main goals, each supported by specific sub-goals that address physical, mental, and social well-being of both students and staff. These goals are designed to support not just, as I mentioned, our students, but our staff and our family members. Can't leave our family and our community out. All ensuring that wellness remains a shared school-wide commitment rather than a single department effort. One of our physical wellness goal or sub-goal for our staff wellness this year is to continue developing and upgrading our staff wellness lounge. This is a space dedicated to promoting relaxation, movement, and self-care for our educators. Our families are also invited to use this room. I'll share a bit more about this as we move forward. Now, here's another question. Why adult fitness and wellness matters? Now, the reason it matters at our school is this started after COVID. During that time, we noticed clear trend. Staff health has taken a major hit. And I'm sure there are some of us here who may have felt their count step drops a little during that time. And even after the restrictions were lifted, how many of us found it challenging to get back into regular fitness or wellness routines? Yes, routines were disrupted and motivation was low. So instead of sitting and adding to our struggles, we decided as a school family to act. We started small, just 2 of us. Then a few other staff members joined, working out after school, which evolved into major group workouts, yoga sessions, and wellness workshops. Soon we were doing blood pressure checks, fitness challenges, and even meditation breaks. And something amazing happened during that time. Morale went up. People started encouraging one another. the energy shifted, and suddenly staff wellness became a part of our school's identity. What started as a few of us encouraging one another quickly evolved into a school-wide culture. Now, here's the truth. When teachers feel well, they teach well. Or if you're in the regular workplace, when you feel well, you work better. Many of us might know what it feels like to work on, let's say, 3 hours of sleep or under stressful circumstances. This is no fun for anyone. So by investing in staff wellness, we're not just improving the mood, we're improving instruction if you're in the classroom, relationships, and the entire school climate. Or if it's in the workplace, it's improving production. So I'll ask again, have you noticed how your energy affects your work? That's why staff wellness should not be a luxury. It should be a necessity. As part of our ongoing effort to prioritize staff wellness, we have launched several key initiatives that support the physical and mental, as well as the social well-being of our staff. One of our biggest accomplishments at Ellery Elementary School has been the creation of our Staff Wellness Lounge. This is a dedicated space designed for relaxation, movement, and self-care. This has become a valuable resource where staff can take a few minutes during the day to recharge and refocus. We also provide healthy nutrition support, including occasional staff, salad buffet, health conscious menu options, among other things. We host workshops on stress management, mental health, sessions to help staff develop healthy coping strategies and maintain emotional balance. I can't leave out our families. We also have these events for our families at our family night workshops. We also have our Wellness Day event where community partners come in to offer free services such as massage, blood pressure check, cholesterol checks, and other wellness resources. These activities, among others, promote teamwork, boost morale, and remind us that staying healthy doesn't have to be a solo journey. It's something that can build and sustain a strong, healthy school community. Now, let's look at that wellness room that I've been bragging about earlier. Not exactly the Planet Fitness you have been imagining, right? No. Our wellness lounge is a work in progress. We started with just a few yoga mats, medicine balls, jump ropes, and of course, big dreams. Now it's equipped with treadmills, a recumbent bike, vibrating plate, free weights, yoga tools, BMI scales for tracking progress, and yes, the beloved, that one you see right there on the screen, our beloved massage chair. Now, these are just a few pictures on the screen sharing how we utilize the space for the staff wellness room. Though it's not yet fully equipped, it is rather a rewarding, or, I must say, when staff members share with us how they are benefiting from this space, it is, trust me, it's rewarding to hear. So we continue to take their feedback over time, especially to hear what they need most, so we can continue to build and grow our wellness space. Now, As I close, I want to leave with you this thought. Wellness should not be a one-time project. I also want to remind you of the quote that Derek made about people quitting fitness because it's too hard. Instead, they quit it because it's too lonely. So they don't quit because it's too hard, they quit because it's too lonely. So let us make this a team effort where we help another person or we help our school family to start that wellness journey. Let us make, like I mentioned, this not just a one-time project, but let's make it a journey. Let's make it a culture. Let's make it a mindset. At Ellery Elementary School, we're still growing, we're still learning and finding new ways to build wellness beyond the classroom. We've learned something very powerful in the process. Small and consistent efforts can make a huge difference. So whether it starts with a walking group or creating a recharge space or just encouraging a colleague or joining a colleague in an activity or a workout, every step counts. I truly hope that some of what I've shared today will inspire ideas for your own school or your organization. And I welcome any thought or suggestions or even collaboration that can help us to continue to build and grow our wellness journey together. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Basil. You've done amazing work with your school. We are going to switch over and do something a little different this time. So, as many of you know, this webinar occurs during the school day, so it does limit our teaching participation. Teachers are wonderful at watching our recordings, but it is also very important for us to have teachers presenting. And Lindsay Dillon is an outstanding teacher. She is teaching at this moment, and we will be learning from her through a recording that she has sent in. She is a physical education teacher in Fort Mill, South Carolina, currently in her 15th year with the Fort Mill School District. At Pleasant Knoll Elementary, she has led several staff wellness initiatives designed to enhance physical and mental well-being among teachers and staff. These include staff workouts, staff games, wellness-focused social media engagement, and a variety of staff challenges. Lindsay is passionate about fostering a supportive and healthy school culture and looks forward to sharing the success of these programs.
Good morning. My name is Lindsay Dillon, and I'm one of the physical education teachers at Pleasant Knoll Elementary School in Fort Mill, South Carolina. Over the last 15 years, I've implemented several staff wellness programs in my school, and I'd love to share some of them with you today. Some of those programs include staff workouts, staff games that happen both during school and after school, our staff social media page, as well as some of our staff challenges. I first began at my school by implementing our staff workout program. It has kind of evolved over the years. It started out back in the day when kind of Beachbody videos were very popular. And so I would send out an email and just say, if anybody is interested in joining me after school, I will be doing, such and such workout. So, we've done, P90X, 21 Day Fix, T25. We kind of went through all of those programs. And just kind of, geared it towards who was coming, who were kind of our regulars and what they were most comfortable with doing. So I would just have my smartboard set up. I would pull up the video. Over time, we were able to add to the amount of weights that we had. We had yoga mats. I wrote a grant to where we were able to get some more of that equipment for our staff wellness program. And so we would, just kind of figure out which days worked best for everybody. And, such as like Tuesdays and Thursdays, we would meet every day after school. Sometimes it kind of, kind of went more towards a circuit training route. Like you can see in this top picture, I would set up 8 different stations, and I had papers that had, exercises on it. And I'll show you a couple of examples of that on a later slide. But I had, several different, let's say one station was working on shoulders. There were several different shoulder exercises that they could choose from with the name of the exercise and pictures of how to complete it safely. And then they would, rotate to the next station, and it might, work on biceps, or it might work on quadriceps or abdominals. And so we had 8 different stations set up with multiple exercises they can do at each station. And then we went around those 8 stations 3 times. So it was a total of, it was about 24 minutes long, because we did like 45-second stations with a 15-second rest and rotation. And so we went through that 3 times. So it was just a quick 24-minute workout. And it worked, from head to toe. And they had multiple different choices. So as they went around each time, they went to each station 3 times, so they could do the same shoulder exercise each time they came to that station, or because they had those options, they could choose to do a different shoulder exercise. So instead of a press, they might have done a lateral raise. And so it kind of just gave them some options, and also teaching them different things that they could also use at home when they're working out on their own. So we did the videos, we've done circuit training, and then sometimes we just need to go on a walk, and sometimes it's a walking meeting. Sometimes it's just walking to, just to talk about something that's not school related. So we did after school walking clubs. And then in the summertime, we try to meet up as much as we can. We meet up early in the morning and we do a trail walk, or we walk in a neighborhood, or go to a park. And so that's been really good for our staff to not only get to know each other, because, some staff, they don't see each other all day long. So it was a good way for us to kind of get to know other people in the building, be able to exercise while also being productive if it was a walking meeting, or just, talking about some stresses that you have going on in your life, whether that's school related or personal related. And it just kind of helped with our mental health at our school as well. And these are just a couple pictures that we've taken at some of our staff workouts. You can kind of tell by the difference in the gym floor. We've been doing this for quite a while. It's the same gym. We just kind of went through some remodeling. And so, we've been doing this for several years, and try to get as many people to come as we can to try to just help out with the health and wellness of our staff. Here's an example of the exercise cards that I had laid out during our circuit training. Each station, like I said before, had several different exercises, and I would just put all of the bicep exercises together, all the shoulder exercises together, and lower body, and then they would just be able to choose between those options for which one they wanted to do each time they rotated around to that station. One of our staff favorites over the years has been our staff games. In the top video, you can see we are playing inflatable costume kickball. This was something that was, of course, inspired by something we saw on social media. And, I pitched the idea to the school and, tried to see how many people would be able to get an inflatable costume. And of course, they all jumped on board. We had several staff members. I think we probably had about 25 or 30 staff members come out that day, either in support or also just coming to play. And so we just split our teams in half, and we just went and played kickball. And not only was it helping with our physical health, but also our mental health as well, just because it gave us a lot of laughs. We also did a flag football game last year. And so a bunch of us wore our favorite team jerseys, and pretty much without any practice or, any instruction, we just went out there and, we just gave them a few rules. We all put our flags on and just had fun playing, and just getting out there and having fun and, exercising our bodies. And like I said, it's a huge help to just the morale at our school, just getting to know other teachers at our school that we might not interact with as much. And, we kind of learn who's a little more competitive than we thought they were, when they get out on the football field. So that was a lot of fun. Other staff games that we've done after school are 9 Square in the Air, which is kind of a mix between 4 Square and volleyball. Thankfully, our school was able to purchase this really great 9 Square set that we use to teach our students. So anytime we're teaching our students that unit, we always invite the teachers after school one day to come out and play. We've also done pickleball and tennis, as well as a game called Omnikin Ball, which is this game with the big giant pink ball. And you're basically in teams and you have to work together. And one person actually hits it up similar to how you would hit a volleyball. And once it's up in the air, you call out a team color, and that team color is responsible for catching that ball before it hits the ground. So there's lots of different strategies, but again, another just fun way for teachers to kind of act like kids again and, just work on their, physical wellness as well as their mental wellness as well. We also have several staff games that we try to play during the day for those who are not able to stay afterwards. We have done a rock, paper, scissors game where every staff member starts with a necklace and you play rock, paper, scissors with anybody throughout the day. And if you lose, you have to give one of your necklaces to that person. If you win, they have to give one necklace to you. And then we see who has the most at the end of the day. We also have done turkey tag for the last several years. We have basically just a mini pool noodle, and it's got a picture of a turkey and it has a list of all of the rules. And basically you want to try to kind of keep the pool noodle piece hidden so that nobody knows that you have it. And then, when they least expect it, you're going to try to take it out and tag somebody. We have, classes that are, helping their teachers kind of go incognito throughout the school, or distract them so that they can, distract another teacher so that they can go up and tag them. And it's kind of become a fun tradition at our school. Everybody looks forward to it. We obviously do it right around Thanksgiving time. And so it's really fun to kind of watch the teachers and the students all work together to have some fun. We also have a staff social media page. We call it Panthers on the Move, and we use it to share recipes with each other, share, a cool new workout or a workout idea or plan that we come across. We communicate a lot with our walking groups, especially over the summer. We communicate through that page on, where we're meeting up and what time. And then also we sometimes like to share some funny memes about nutrition or working out, just to kind of keep it lighthearted. This is just an example of some recipes that I've shared. So if I'm, making a new recipe or one that I really enjoy that, it kind of has, it's got your proteins and your carbs and your healthy fats. And, we try to share some of those as well as the recipes so that we can just give everybody ideas of, other recipes and meals that they can use to try to stay on track with their nutrition. We also use the social media page to try to help keep everybody motivated, especially when we are, out for winter break or summer break, or just out on a weeknight walk, even during the school year. So we, sometimes we're, posting our step count, or maybe that we're going out on a walk or, getting ready to do a workout, just so that maybe if somebody sees it and maybe they're just sitting on the couch, it might give them that extra motivation to get up and at least maybe go for a walk for 20 minutes. And one of our favorites is to use it to share some funny memes. Sometimes they're funny, like, hey girl, nice job at reaching your step count. But sometimes, we really just want to kind of be there for each other and just let them know that even though we're trying to all work together to be healthy, that, you are worthy just as you are, even if you didn't make any changes, and we're all here for each other. And lastly, we've also had some staff challenges in the past. One we did was called the Step It Up Challenge. We actually kind of all worked together to keep track of our steps. We were all divided up into teams, and I had a Google form where each week you could submit your weekly step count. And I can't remember, we might have just done Monday through Friday just with our work week, because we know weekends can be a little bit crazy. But we did do a Google form to submit on Friday afternoons. And then we had weekly winners. So like if your whole team had the largest step count combined, then we had PTO gift cards that were donated. We also changed up the teams each week sometimes, because we had, some people who just because of their schedule or just, they are very committed to their workouts, they were getting, super high numbers with their step count. And then there were others who were really trying their best and they were getting a really low step count. And if some of those lower step counts were always on the same team, they never really had a chance to win. So we did kind of shake up the teams each week. And that way it kind of made it fair for everybody to have a chance to win. We have also done something based on the Game On Diet. So it was a Game On Diet challenge, and we didn't focus on every single aspect of it. But we kind of took the things that we felt were most important, like having balanced meals, getting exercise, getting enough sleep, and drinking enough water. And so we had this was an actual paper form that we kept track of each week on it was really kind of like a check mark just on the honor system. Did you get 20 minutes of exercise? Did you get 8 hours of sleep? Did you drink X amount of water, that whatever we decided on? And then each meal, it kind of, it was broken down into having, a protein, a fat, and a carb. And so it was kind of based on that, but we also made it work for what we thought was best for our teachers. And again, we did have PTO donating gift cards for us so that we could give those to our weekly winners. Thank you so much for joining me on this presentation about how I implement staff wellness in my school. If you have any questions or need more details about anything that I talked about, please feel free to reach out through email. I'd also be happy to share any resources that I have and, forms and different things that we have used. Just let me know and I will be happy to share. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Well, a big thank you to Lindsay, and we'll be sure to email her to say thank you, and share your positive comments that y'all put in the chat.
Well, thank you, JC. And if we don't have any questions, I just want to thank our presenters again. So, Derek, thank you again. Again, Derek's with the iRun SC, and you can check out his website, Running Directory. And like Derek said, and what I always like to remember is just because it's use the word run doesn't always mean it's running. It's walking, it's rolling, it's anything that has you up and moving. So thank you, Derek, for that reminder and for sharing the great resources that you have compiled all over the state. And then another big thank you to Coach Vassell and sharing all of the amazing work and resources and just the ways that you guys were able to successfully build and sustain this culture of wellness at your school that prioritized the health of not only your students, but also your staff. We'll be sure to get your information and resources out to the group as well. And then Lindsay, we just appreciate her taking the time to prepare and to record her webinar ahead of time. Like JC said, we do provide these webinars in the middle of the school day. So that does mean that a lot of our educators don't get the chance to watch these webinars live, but they do go back and watch the recordings. But that also means they don't always get to present live. And like JC said, our educators have a lot to say as it relates to how schools collaborate with communities to support students' health and fitness. So we're thankful for Lindsay for taking the time to not only provide the recording, but we also want to thank you, our audience, for sticking around to listen to the recording. I think this might have been the first time we've incorporated a recording into our webinar. And just so y'all know, it may happen a few more times because we do want to be able to share more of those teachers' voices when we can. So I thank you again for sticking around, audience, and being here. Another thank you to JC for always being my amazing co-host and co-facilitator. I really appreciate everything that you do to get us through the morning together. And then behind the scenes, we have Carrie and Juanita, who are our webinar planning committee. So thank you for all that you guys have done. And with that, just thank you again for spending another Wednesday morning with us. And we can't wait to see y'all again next month. Thanks, everybody.